About the effectiveness of NGOs. Actually, a little bit I was surprised, but thanks to you, Aris, actually, because due to this, I had to think about this topic in depth. And there were lots of stuff that I understood while preparing or while thinking about the topic. So, and I will be very happy to share today with you my thinking, actually, and what we are doing, actually. So it was additional opportunity for me to re-evaluate the work that we have been doing. First of all, I want to talk a little bit that, as in every country probably, in Armenia also the civic society organizations appeared first as not local, not formally registered, but as a response to the calamities that was disasters that happened. We had to take care of the refugees that fled in our country, you know, in 1988. We had to deal with the consequences of devastating earthquake, and the government, especially in those times, the Soviet government, you know, was not able to do that. So, and the whole as in leader approach, actually, the whole population, all these active public groups, they came together, they start focusing on dealing with this or that urgent tasks. So this was the first stage of creating and developing the CSOs. The second stage was late on when and those groups, actually, the first NGOs were focusing mainly on social needs, to help children, to help elderly, to help refugees, to help disabled. And they were filling actually the gap of governmental work. Later on, they start, the legal framework appeared that required them to get registered. So, and they got registered. And then this was disaster because I was at the very beginning, you know, of formatting. I myself was founding 3 NGOs, two local NGOs and 1 international NGOs branching over in Armenia. So I passed through all these calamities also. Just in order not to waste much time, just I want to tell you that the current situation is that we have more than 5,000, you know, NGOs registered. Can you imagine such a big, large group? But those are registered. Only, even I'm not sure that this number is correct, about 900 only are operating. So they are active, they are doing something, they are reporting to the governmental agencies, etc. And currently, I'm happy to share with you that due to our fight actually for our rights, I mean for CSOs' rights, we have now new legal framework that solves very, very important question. First question, and I'm sure that you all have this, the question, the issue of volunteers, you know. Most NGOs, you know, that they are working with the volunteers. So they they have volunteers, but the issue is that even you are not, the previous legal framework didn't allow the volunteers to come and sit in your office, do some work to help you, because the tax police may came with a like assessment visit and say, okay, so you are employing the person and you are not paying money. So this was huge issue. But, for example, Development Principles NGO, these 2 nice ladies also, they are our volunteers. But now, due to new legal framework, there are 2 main important points that I'm very happy to tell you. One is that you can, legally it is allowed to have contracts with the volunteers when you describe all the scope of work, whatever, but you are not paying salary. But if you are sending, let's say, volunteers to the region, you can pay per diem, you can cover some fuel cost, exactly like in America, you know, in 1999. So America really is a country that we have to learn about the voluntary, how the... So the volunteers differ from the regular employees only by not getting salaries. But because they are operating, you have to cover the transportation cost and other, operational cost. The second issue is that NGOs are now allowed to do income generation activities in Armenia. Before, they had to establish daughter enterprise, to do some income generation activities to help themselves with the funds. Can you move forward? Sorry. 2 words about the state policies. So, on rural development in Armenia, state policies, they are focusing, I don't want to go in very details through all this, but the main issue is to, the contemporary policies are developed to help increase competitiveness of local producers because of the fact that we joined the customs union. You know this, yeah? We are actually among these countries, our countries, we are the only one who joined. This was a one-man decision, to join the customs union. And please allow me not to focus on that because I am really critical about this issue. But the fact is fact that we entered this customs union, we sort of get access to a big, huge market. But there are it's not European Union, with a set of very strict regulations, everything. Those are regulations that are serving only 1, maximum 2, actors. So our farmers actually faces a lot of difficulties. So fortunately the government understood that they have to protect, first of all, the local producers to increase the competitiveness. And second, they have also all the policies that they are developing, they have to focus on to protect also the whole nation, food security, because with having 2 closed borders, it is a real issue that at some point we have to rely on ourselves. And so food security and creating competitiveness of the agriculture producers, all these are within the framework of policies. Can you move further? And here I want to talk about that we have 3 main actors actually in rural development. This is Armenian state who are developing the policies, and they are reflected in Armenian development strategy for 2014 to 2025. And they have also some projections of how things will be going and how to protect. Second, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, are working with focus on rural development, and I will jump to EU-funded NPART program, which is also focusing on rural development, but with very, very clear focus on developing the cooperatives, on developing the capacity within the Ministry of Agriculture in our country through FAO. And the most important thing, they want to introduce the new agriculture produce, for example, buckwheat, grechka, buckwheat. This is a culture that is very, we are now producing our own buckwheat now. So this is due to EU-funded project, MPART. And also production of high-value vegetables like broccoli, etc. So, you saw this also when you visited Armenia, now back to NGOs. The issue is here, maybe in your country is also the same trend, and I'm happy to have here the the NGO representative that can work with the government, but we have a very interesting trend. So you know that all these global major donors like World Bank, IFAD, all this, International Monetary Fund, everything, they do not work directly with the NGOs. They are working through the government, But at the government, they create so-called PIU, Project Implementation Units. So those are governmental agencies, actually. Our Carmack project, for example, was implemented by this kind of project implementing unit. Now, what is happening? The government made decision to transform, to delete all these PIU, Project Implementation Units, and create sort of funds, for example, like NGO, you know, funds. But those funds are really ruled by governments, you know. But from legal perspective, they are eligible to apply for grants. You understand? So this is like the government use the power and the sort of power, maybe, I don't know, and the money that they have, and they are entering directly, I would say it maybe in bad words, but bargain with the international donors, like, okay, so we have here a donor, not give to the government, give to the NGO, but this NGO is real instrument in the hands of the government, and this is big, so I don't consider them actors in our civil society, civil society, because those are different animals. The fact is that they increase the competitiveness in the area. So, and now I'm coming to, and so I want also here to tell about another trend also, that some NGOs think that if you are non-governmental, so you should be anti-governmental, you know. So you should, sometimes I'm also anti-governmental, but this is case by case, you know. So this is a case issue. It is not just general. If you are non-governmental, it doesn't mean that you have to act against your government, okay? But we do have, unfortunately, some of those NGOs, and you all know what is happening in Russia when, oh no, I'm jumping now because there is very important thing. Okay, now, I created, while thinking about all this stuff, I created formula for NGO effectiveness, guys. So, you all agree that NGOs, why we create NGO? Because we have mission, and we have to implement this mission, okay? But you cannot be successful, you cannot be effective if you don't have money, first. If you don't have systems, how to use this money, how to report, etc. So, if you are not open-minded like parachute, like my professor used to say, innovative, and you not work in a partnership, this is a requirement. So this is my formula I'm sharing with you, and I even, but to be sustainable, you need to, first of all, solve this problem with the fundraising, because if you are dependent on the grants, we all are. If you are dependent on the others' money and you don't have this mechanism of income generation or fundraising yourself, so you cannot be effectively doing your mission, believe me. Now, regarding this, just one thing, because we are entering, our NGO, entering the phase of so-called social impact investing. So we have created a new model to develop a self-sustaining organization, and we are now in pilot phase. But we had recently US expert who said that this is a new stuff and he agrees to help us. So I do hope that very soon we will get some results in 2 years, in 3 years, and I will be very, very happy to share with you, because I think we all have to think about effectiveness, not just doing successful projects, no, to be independent or interdependent, and the new one. So how to move forward? We have to learn to cooperate with others. I know lots of NGOs, the directors are my friends, but they never work in a joint project. They always say no. Then financial viability, as I said, And we have to extend and open dialogue and debates across the NGO community. We have to build like alliances, you know, and I'm happy that one of those alliances is here. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry for it.
Спасибо, Анахит. Очень мы все успеваем. Спасибо.